Welcome to Yo-Yo Talk. First, I want to apologize. We missed last month, first time ever. That was supposed to be episode 74. This is episode 74. We had a family medical emergency. My wife had a complication from COVID. Ended up in the hospital, and you know how it is. Life happens as you make plans, as they say. So it wasn't going to happen last month, and I do apologize for that. I hate missing. I like to be responsible, being on time. I do want to congratulate, and she's doing great now, 100%. That's behind us, so hopefully that'll never, ever happen again. But COVID does weird things to you. Congratulations to Sean. Sean is now gainfully employed. Besides being the producer for Yo-Yo Talk, he is now an Orange County fireman. So he has a lot less time, and we're very appreciative that he's here still for the show because he had like a 12-hour day already today. So thank you, Sean, for being here for all us Yo-Yo people. First, a little bit of sad news. As you may or may not be aware, we lost a legend a few days ago. Dennis McBride, who's yo-yo national grandmaster, is in the Hall of Fame and all these other things. He was 79. I believe he had pancreatic cancer, and he passed on September 30th. If you knew Dennis, he was a true gentleman. And I just put together a little clip just to kind of honor his memory to the yo-yo community. Can you run that little clip?
Yo-yoing legend Dennis McBride was inducted into the National Yo-Yo Hall of Fame in 2007. He was fortunate to grow up in California, just a few doors down from the multiple-time women's state yo-yo champ, Connie Scarlet. He learned to play the yo-yo with Connie, and she forced him to practice. He became one of the top players in California, which had some of the best organized tournaments in the country, overseen by Duncan's Bob Allen. The California tournaments progressed from neighborhood competitions to city championships, followed by regional and state championship. McBride won at all levels, and in 1955, he was in the sights of Duncan when they were asked to provide a boy and girl champion for a Disney film. He and his mentor, Connie Scarlet, performed in the cutting-edge 3D movie at the Mickey Mouse Club Theater in Disneyland. He worked with the original Mouseketeers and was paid the princely sum of $150 for his efforts. In 1988, he produced what was to be one of the first VHS yo-yo instructional videos, known as the No Yo Yo-Yo video series. It was a series of 4 different videos which served as a principal reference for many budding future professional yo-yo players. He was also, 10 years later, a founding member, along with his wife Carol, of Team High Performance, THP, in Hawaii, teaching many younger members how to do two-handed tricks. The touring of THP was the impetus for the great yo-yo craze of 1998 and 1999. Dennis received the Harvey Lowe Lifetime Achievement Award, and he is also one of the 4 original National Grand Masters. Dennis sadly parted our world at age 79 in September 30th, 2023. Dennis McBride.
Rest in peace, Dennis. All right, getting back to some fun stuff here. We will have a trivia contest at the end of the show. You need to sign in, and Sean will be posting that link shortly for the trivia contest. Remember, we only have 20 slots, so sign in early. If you're watching live, please give a shout out on the show. I see Dano the Mano is already signed in. Just kind of like to see who's watching so we can harass you a little bit. Just want to remind everybody we're in the nomination period for the National Yo-Yo Hall of Fame. So far, we have had a lackluster nomination period. Of course, missing last month's show probably didn't help. Anybody can nominate anybody. However, we only have a total of 8 different nominations so far. Now, remember, the 3 individuals that have the most nominations will be automatically put in the final pool of 10. And right now, everybody would be in the final pool of 10. But I suspect we're going to get more nominations because there are many, many worthy people out there that are not on the nomination list right now. Now, we have had a lot of nominations. We had 115 total, but the majority are going to just a few people. And again, the top 3 get that automatic seed, if you will, into the final 10. And our leaderboard right now is with Jimmy Johnson, Ted Anderson, and Stuart Crump. But that could change as more nominations come in. And since we have so few nominations and nominees, I guess I should say, I have cobbled together a short little video here, just a little bit about each of them. Some of them are new nominees, so you may not know about them. And just something to food for thought if you haven't put in your nomination yet. And then, of course, when we get down to the final voting, you kind of need to know a little bit about all these folks that have been nominated. So, Sean, go on and run that little nominee video. I think there are 8 people there on the video. And I think we start with Jimmy Johnson there. Out the entire yo-yo community, he won his first citywide contest in 1952. He's a world record holder, a distributor, a demonstrator, a national and world championship judge for a number of years. He's worked for 9 different yo-yo companies over the decades. He's also the recipient of the Harvey Lowe Lifetime Achievement Award. Yo-Yo Master Jim E. Johnson.
Jimmy Reyes was born in the Philippines in 1912 and immigrated to the United States in 1931, where he almost immediately joined with the Duncan crew as one of the original Filipino yo-yo demonstrators. In 1932, he won a contest among the 40 other Duncan demonstrators at the time and was given the title World Yo-Yo Champion. In 1937, he left Duncan with his friend Joe Radovan to work with him and his company Royal. There was a hiatus during World War II where he served in the Merchant Marine, and after this he returned back to the United States. He founded his own company, Eagle Tops, in 1947 and produced his own yo-yos for about 3 years. In 1950, he returned to Duncan as a campaign manager. He continued to demonstrate for Duncan and then Royal until his retirement in 1969. As with many of the original demonstrators, he was an expert in carving yo-yos. In 1991, during the return of the yo-yo show, he dusted off his yo-yos for one last performance. Tommy Reyes. Mark McBride is considered the father of 3A yo-yo play, inventing many of the first 3A tricks. He is not only a trick innovator, but an author, filmmaker, illustrator, and one of the most dynamic influencers in the modern yo-yo era. He was the editor of Fiend Magazine, and as a member of the Duncan Worldwide crew, he toured the world as a yo-yo professional and produced, edited, and directed many of the Duncan videos, including How to Be a Player and the now legendary Viking Tour DVD. On the fringe, he ran an underground yo-yo film festival at Worlds, which to this day still cannot be named. His groundbreaking book, The Yo-nomicron, on yo-yo tricks is still relevant today as it was 2 decades ago when it was first published. Well remembered as the host of the Wheel of Pain at Worlds Contest, his world has always been lived outside the box, not in. Mark McBride. Okay, here we have Stuart Crump on stage. This is from about 30 years ago. You can see he's on stage there with another Hall of Famer, last year's inductee Bob Maloney. Stuart Crump is also known as Professor Yo-Yo, and before there was the internet, there was Yo-Yo Times, and Stuart Crump was Yo-Yo Times. He was a major promoter of the yo-yo for a couple of decades, and I know we all waited patiently by our mailbox for the next little yellow newsletter, Yo-Yo Times, to arrive, because This is the way we found out what was going on in the yo-yo world. Stuart, Crump, and Yo-Yo Times was the pulse of the yo-yo community for so many years. Next nominee is Chuck Short. He has been a previous finalist for the last few years for the Hall of Fame.
Was a major influence in the yo-yo scene in the 90s and early 2000s. He was a member of Team High Performance and was a professional yo-yo demonstrator for multiple companies. He was a columnist for Fiend Magazine, and he was even featured on the cover of one of the Fiend magazines, if you'll remember that. His signature yo-yo is a Tom Coon 3-in-1 No Jive Raw. So that was Chuck Short.
Ted Anderson is a first-time nominee. He grew up in Luck, Wisconsin. When he returned from World War II, he found out that Duncan had just built a new yo-yo factory and had become the yo-yo capital of the world. He began demonstrating for Duncan in the late 40s, and he demonstrated throughout the 50s and was one of their more popular demonstrators of this period of time, demonstrating throughout the United States and Puerto Rico. During this period, he often ran campaigns with his good friend Jack Russell, a current Hall of Fame member. Upon retirement, he later moved to Disney, where he continued to entertain guests with his yo-yo expertise. Ted Anderson. Kenichi Nakamura is a very well-known Japanese yo-yo player. He gained fame in the early 90s as part of the Team High Performance. He was one of the best-known players, along with Alex Garcia, during this hyper yo-yo spinners craze in Japan. He is a fictionalized character, cartoon character, in a TV series which is shown in Japan, known as Supersonic Spinner's Super Yo-Yo. He's also well known for his signature yo-yo trick, the Spider Baby, which was the subject of a Japanese meme. He's been a fixture on yo-yo contests, especially in Japan, both as a competitor and a judge, and recently he released a new signature yo-yo, the Turning Point. I will finish with a first-time nominee, Dennis Frandsen, who I knew nothing about, so I had to look up. He's apparently an extremely successful businessman. His tie to the yo-yos is he sold lumber to the Luck Yo-Yo factory back in the 1950s. I doubt that qualifies him for being inducted into the Hall of Fame, but you can nominate anybody you want.
Whoops, that's why I like you guys chiming in. I guess I did make a mistake. I thought that was an awfully clean-cut looking Chuck Short. Again, that picture's like 25 years old, so I thought that was Chuck, and I was wrong, so thanks for correcting me on that. I'll have to fix that some way. What's that? I just said that I blew it on the Chuck Short on the THP. I guess he's probably somewhere in that picture. I guess I didn't look close enough. So if you haven't made your nomination, Sean just put in a link into the chat section. You can get in there and nominate folks. Just a reminder, because this always happens a couple of times. I am not eligible for nominations. I am the director of the Hall of Fame. That excludes me, so please don't waste your nomination on me. And don't waste your nomination on somebody that's already in the National Yo-Yo Hall of Fame, because we always seem to get a few nominations of people that are already in the Hall of Fame. And remember, you only get one nomination each year, so use it wisely. Was there something else I was supposed to mention? Oh, no, what was that comment? Yeah, I mean, I think the pro spins were certainly. I mean, Duncan and I think kind of dropped the ball in the during the yo-yo craze. They were kind of playing catch up with everybody. Pro Yos, I think, played better. Obviously, Omegas were kicking butt, and Duncan just. I just don't know what happened during that. They were just kind of resting on their laurels, I think. Now they've kind of caught back up and came out with some innovative stuff over of course, the last 20 years. But during that period of time, yeah, I think other companies were starting to dominate. So, yes, I agree with you there.
And Dano, just so you know, I see your comment. Where can we see all the current inductees?
You go to the National Yo-Yo Hall of Fame. Just type that in, and it should take you right there. That should be the first thing to pop up. All the folks are listed there on the web, National Yo-Yo Hall of Fame. So the Michigan State Yo-Yo Championships has finished. I wish I had put together a little clip for you, but I just ran out of time literally putting the show together, and it does take about 10, 12 hours putting one of these together, believe it or not. I know it seems like we just threw it together 5 minutes before we get on, but that is not true. So the videos, though, you can see online. They're all posted on Doc Lucky's Yo-Yo Talk. We have all the winners, the finalists, even the prelim stuff. So if you want to see how the Michigan players are shaken out, go to Doc Lucky's Yo-Yo Talk, and you'll see all the videos there. My understanding is everybody had just a really great time. We still have several yo-yo contests left this year that are getting ready to run. The anti-online yo-yo contest is starting November 14th, so that's coming up pretty close. You can go to their website. That's the anti-yo-yo, ANTE yo-yo contest. It's an online contest, and they will be having Doc Lucky duos on the 14th. So we are a proud sponsor of the anti-yo-yo contest. The New York championships are coming up, and sorry, I forgot to write down the date and get a little bio, but if you are in New York, I'm sure the information is online now for the New York championships. Florida State Championships, I just got a bunch of stuff from Dano. It is confirmed to be on December 2nd. That's at Deezerland Park. Now, Deezerland is pretty amazing. If you've been to Orlando and have been to Deezerland, you know what I'm talking about. If you haven't, they have a couple different museums there, old car museums. They had a James Bond museum. They have this giant pinball palace. They have one of those break rooms where you bash stuff. I mean, you name it. They've got all kinds of crazy stuff there to do. So there's a lot more to do after you finish your competition with the yo-yos. So I think everybody's going to have a fun time. You can go to floridayoyo.com. That's where you can register as well. It's on iDrive. It's just up the road from the Rosen Plaza. If you ever went to one of the World Yo-Yo Championships, it's just actually a pretty short drive from there, so you kind of know that area of town. Gentry Stein will be there, and Betty Gallegos. Between them, they have about 1 trillion views on YouTube, I think. This is going to be a pretty awesome contest. They're going to have a 1A and an X division along with the sports freestyle, a beginner's luck contest, as well as Doc Lucky's duo division. And Gentry will be hosting a mini contest before the awards. All the registered players will receive an $8 voucher for Deezerland Food Court and unlimited play at the Pinball Palace. And there will be a commemorative yo-yo too. And speaking of commemorative yo-yos, I will be there with collectible yo-yos trading. I know Daniel will be bringing his collectibles for trade. And you need to bring your yo-yos for trade too, because that's what it's all about, coming to these contests, talking with people, trading yo-yos. And I think this is just the best part of competition, is that trading and getting together and meeting everybody. So hopefully we'll see you all. I'll be there December 2nd at Deezerland as well. Now, a lot of folks, because I've been really pushing this duos. This is a competition where you have two people and only two people on stage, and they interact, putting together on a performance. And a lot of people have said, well, they're interested in the rules, and we haven't really had any, so I've kind of put together guidelines. Can you kind of run that as I'm talking there? So these are kind of the guidelines for the rules. The main thing we're looking at here is entertainment value. And the judges are going to be looking at a few things. There's some required elements. Both contestants must play the yo-yo, so you can't have just one person standing up there as a prop. Both players must interact in some way. You don't want two players standing there doing a 1A routine independently of each other. The judges are going to base the score on how much they were entertained. That's 50% of the value. And then 30% will be uniqueness and creativity, and there's a lot of things that you can do. You can do stage props, you can dress up, you can have custom music, you can do magic, athletics, dance, weird yo-yos, comedy, lighting effects, whatever. That's uniqueness, and that's what we want to emphasize. We want to just be out there. You have to interact, so if you're not interacting, you're going to get deducted big time. If you don't show a certain degree of skill elements, you're also going to be deducted a little bit for that. So what happens if somebody ties? Okay, well, if they tie, we're going to do a sleeper. Both people on each team will do a sleeper. Everybody will stand on one leg as they throw their sleeper, and the first person to either touch the ground with their off their foot off the ground or have their sleeper go bad, that side loses. So that's the way we'll decide that, should there be unlikely tie. All right, so
I have one question for you.
Sure.
So now the sleeper that determines the tiebreak, does it have to be the same one that they play with in their routine?
No, it does not. I will let them, because everybody could have multiple yo-yos in the routine. So I would just say any yo-yo that they want to use. But the thing is, they have to throw it on one foot. They have to balance on one foot. And there you go. So you get somebody that can throw a 10-minute sleeper. Well, good. But it's both people on the team have to do it at the same time. So they might want to practice the sleeper before they come for the duo championships, just so they, if they do have a tie. Okay, so for the collectors of us out there that liked watching Yo-Yo Talk, I have a short clip. This is then we'll get into the trivia contest, but I have a short clip of some interesting things that I have seen online or auctions or otherwise. Don't forget to sign up for the trivia contest while this is going. Sean, do you have that link online? Okay, he's getting ready to repost the link for the trivia contest, and then we'll jump into the trivia contest after this little video clip. It's about 7 or 8 minutes of kind of interesting things, I think, about stuff that I've seen.
This yo-yo was recently listed as a Duncan jeweled yo-yo. You can see it's got 5 jewels. One there is conveniently missing, so we can see there's no paint in the holes. If you're familiar with the regular jeweled yo-yos or the supers, those were painted after the holes were drilled. But in the very few Duncan 5 jeweled yo-yos I've seen that actually have a stamp on them, I have not seen paint inside the holes, which means they were drilled later. And this would indicate that if this really was a Duncan. Now, it doesn't have a seal. Now, Royal frequently made 5 jeweled yo-yos without a seal. The only problem I have with this particular yo-yo is the jewels are not really lined up perfectly. And with the Royal yo-yos, they're lined up perfectly because the way the drill press worked. And in all the 4 jeweled yo-yos, the same. Now, Duncan did drill holes after the painting of what I call their oversized photo yo-yos, where they had multiple jewels in used to take press photos with. But those are really rare. and they all have a Duncan logo. So if it doesn't have a Duncan logo on it, has 5 jewels, is definitely not a Duncan, probably a Royal. All right, this is a Tony the Tiger advertising yo-yo, obviously. The reason I'm showing it is it has a 1993 release, and we weren't sure when this was actually released. So this is about 30 years old now, and it's a figural advertising yo-yo that's a cartoon character, so kind of cool. I believe the release was only in England, so kind of hard to find, but a cool one to have in your collection. This is a pet peeve of mine, calling something a yo-yo that's not a yo-yo. They have this listed as a Conker yo-yo. Conkers is a game that's played over in Europe where you get 2 chestnuts on a string and you try and bang them together. This looks more like kind of a precursor to the clackers, which you may remember from the 60s or early 70s. Again, not a yo-yo. One more item that's not a yo-yo called a yo-yo. This is a yo-yo spinner from Rice Krispies. You cut out the 2 pieces of round cardboard there and put them on a string, pull the string back and forth, and it makes a spinning sound. You can make it out of a button. Some people call these whizzer spinners or just spinners, but they're not yo-yos. I happened to come across this item on a non-eBay auction site. It's a jacket with some old yo-yo patches on it. The interesting thing I thought about this was they had a minimum bid of $400, and the auction house estimated the value of that between $500 and $1,000. That's what they thought the auction price would go for. I don't have a follow-up on that, but I suspect they are wrong. Another pet peeve of mine is these button yo-yos. This, of course, is representing images from the band Kiss. Now, these button yo-yos, you've probably seen ads for, hey, make your own buttons, make money, and you can make button yo-yos. And that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. And these are yo-yos. Here's another example of an Elvis yo-yo. And the problem is that you can take any image and make it into a button at any time. And these images can still be made into buttons. So I don't consider them collectible, even though they are yo-yos. I just recently picked up this set of yo-yos. As you all know, I love character yo-yos, and this is from the Bugs Life movie. A Bug's Life was made in 1998. It was a Disney Pixar film. I think it did pretty well. It had a box office of $360 million, so I think most people are familiar with the film. And these are different characters out of the film. I believe this is an Argentinian version. There are a U.S. version, too, which is a little bit different, but I like these sets. And speaking of character yo-yos, this is the E.T. yo-yo. The reason I'm showing this is because I never knew the origin of the E.T. yo-yos. They turn out, it looks like they were Australian made. That is a box. They're wanting basically $380 some for the box and those 2 yo-yos, the empty box. I think that's a wee bit high, but who knows? Generally, you can pick up these individual yo-yos in the mid-$20 range plus postage. Nice little collectible if you like movie collectible yo-yos. And one more cartoon character set here. These are keychain yo-yos. There's some people that love collecting those little mini yo-yos, the ones that are on the keychains, and there's a variety. But this is a Looney Tunes set. You've got Sylvester and the Wolf and Tweety Bird and Bugs Bunny and Speedy Gonzales there. I think I got this out of Argentina. I think individually you can pick them up for about $10, $12 plus postage. Nice little set if you're into cartoon collecting, which I am when it comes to yo-yos. Now, every once in a while, something will come up that is super cool. It's a new find, a yo-yo I've never seen or heard of before, and I got to thank John Maishral for pointing this out to me. And I will also point out that you can still get these on eBay. This is an Orbit top, and it was obviously something that I don't think I had ever seen or heard of before. So when I saw it, I'm going, wow, wow, wow. And so I started doing a little more research, and then also when I typed in Orbitop, this comic book came up, and I'm going, oh my gosh, I wonder if they have an ad for Orbitop in it. And sure enough, full page ad on the inside front cover for this yo-yo, and it's dated 1964, so we know that's when it was released, and that makes totally good sense because that was at the height of the space race craze. We had just put a man up into orbit. So very, very cool yo-yo. Obviously, they couldn't use the word yo-yo because at the time that they were making this, Duncan still said they had the trademark for the word yo-yo. So Orbitop is what this was called. And I think you can pick these up still on eBay for less than $20. I would highly encourage you to do it. They have a warehouse find, so you can get yours. But I think in a few years you're going to regret it if you don't, because I don't think people will be parting with them. One thing I picked up recently off of eBay, this is out of England, was this Tunbridge Ware yo-yo. I love these. Technically, it's not a yo-yo. They were bandalores then, because these were made in the mid-19th century. Tunbridge Ware yo-yos, and I've shown a few before, have these intricate wood pieces embedded into the face of the yo-yo, making patterns. I don't know how long it takes to make one of these, but I think a heck of a long time. This is a take-apart yo-yo, and it is a true bandalore. So the rich kids, that's what they played with back around 1840. And this last yo-yo, John Maishral also sent me photos of. It's a little bit of an enigma. It has a Cheerio Big Chief on the front, and then this butterfly on the back. It's a tournament-shaped yo-yo. It's not a butterfly-shaped yo-yo. I know that in Sweden, I believe Cheerio had some of their yo-yos made. I think I've seen this seal before, but anybody out there that has more information on this particular yo-yo, I would certainly love to hear it. I'm sure John would too. And that's about it for what I've seen recently that I thought was interesting on eBay and other sites.
All right, I got to make a comment about Jay's asking about whether duos will be in World Championships. That was just his way of getting in a little clip about Cleveland, Ohio, the armpit of the world. I am not a big fan of Cleveland, Ohio, although they do occasionally have the World Yo-Yo Championships, which does have some redemption for them, and they also have the Christmas Story Museum. That's pretty much it for Cleveland, Ohio, though. So, Dano, thank you for your support for president. I thought you were my friend. That's probably the worst job in the world to wish upon somebody. So, all right, I think we're about ready for the trivia contest. We've got at least 10 people signed in so far. Did we get any more in there?
Yeah, we'll say we've got
13. Wow, we got a big crew tonight for the trivia contest. I'll give you a minute or two longer here to get signed in. We have 5 questions. You have what are we plugged in there? 45 seconds? 30. 30? Did we say that was enough last time?
Yes.
Okay, so 30 seconds to answer. Now, the catch is the quicker you answer, the more points you get. So if you see the answer, don't ponder over them, just plug it in. You're going to get more points that way.
So Jay, and anyone else in the chat there, those links that I posted that say this is a link for tonight or CrowdPer, click that link and it'll bring you to the trivia.
Okay, got that. The link is up. It's that CrowdPer link. So we still have a few slots left open. If you're, somebody had mentioned about the Orbitop, they couldn't find it on eBay. Type in Orbitop. They still had some available like 2 or 3 days ago when I made the clip. Maybe they're out now. If they're out, you're just out of luck. But that's one you're going to want to have in your collection, I think. I think it's pretty odd and cool all at the same time. So where are we at now? What do we give them? Another minute here, and we'll get started with the trivia contest.
Yeah, let's give them 37 seconds.
37 seconds, okay. Well, I will pop my thing on here and get ready for this. Now, 5 questions. Answer them quick. You'll get something in the mail from us. I don't remember what it is. John Meischral, if you do send me your snail mail address, I still have your last prize. I don't remember, you said we owe you 2, but I know I've got the last one still sitting on a shelf ready to go. I just don't have your snail mail address. So let me have it if you want that nice mug, Trivia Champion mug. Okay, here we go. We're going to get ready to start right now. Okay, starting in about 8 seconds. And okay, what is unusual about the Playmax Albino Bee yo-yo? Only 1,000 were made. The plastic is said to be bulletproof. It weighs 454 grams. There are LED bulbs embedded in the plastic, or secret compartments were used to transport cocaine from Colombia. All right, you can see the points going down. Okay, now the correct. Well, let me first point out a few things. Well, no, I'll point out the correct answer first. Go ahead. Okay, this was their. I'm blocking on the name. Proionium. Plastic. They did the stunt pilots in this plastic, but they only did like a really brief run of these albino bees. I think there were only like 12 made or something like that. Very low numbers. One of them is sold for $1,200 or more dollars. There may have sold higher than that. So kind of a cool yo-yo to have in your collection. Obviously, 454 grams. I think that's about a pound. So that wasn't the answer. The cocaine, that's still a possibility, but I don't think that they had any secret compartments. We got 4 votes for cocaine. All right. Well, we know where everybody's mind is here on that one. Okay, so we'll go to the question. Oh, wait, we got to see what the leaderboard is. Show me the leaderboard. Oh, the Simcoe answered it the quickest. All right, good for him. So we got 4 that scored on that. A lot of people that were just a big 0. All right, here we go. Question number 2. But this game, you can go right up to the end and still be out of the money and still win. So, all right, here we go. Question number 2. Of the current Hall of Fame nominees, who appeared on the cover of Fiend Magazine? Jimmy Johnson, Dennis Frandsen, Ted Anderson, Stuart Crump, or Chuck Short? And that, I left an S out of Frandsen. Those are the people. Now, if you're watching the show carefully, you should get it. So we'll see how many people are paying attention during the show on this question. Okay, the correct answer is, of course, Chuck Short. That was the 3rd issue of Fiend Magazine. Chuck was a writer for the magazine, very involved in that yo-yo craze in the 90s and thereabouts. So let's see how our scoreboard did with that. Oh, lots of people got that one. All right. Simcoe is still holding on to the lead, and LP is, I'm not sure who that is in solid 2nd place. Dano the Mano is rounding out 3rd, and Jane, his lovely girlfriend, is in 4th place. Good. John M., I assume that's John Meischral, is in 5th. But everybody's still in, still has a chance. You still have a chance. Okay, here we go. And let's go to question number 3. How many issues of Fiend Magazine were published? 1, 2, 3, 4, 12, 47. That's interesting. 1, 2, 3, 4, 12, or 47. Got 5 seconds. Now, before we go, Do we have an option for? I didn't know there was an F option. Did you add that in, Sean?
I think I did.
Oh, okay. So we can have 6 answers?
I guess so.
Oh, wow. Okay. Well, it wasn't 47, folks. It was 3, and that third episode I was just talking about with Chuck Short was actually the last episode. So, last issue, rather. So let's see how our leaderboard shook up there. Yeah, I'm sorry. 3. There we go. And not too many correct answers there. Only 4 again. But the Simcoe holds on to a lead. He's Randy Rentz. Ricky Rentz, I'm sorry, Randy. Rick's, he's moved up into second. LP slips into third. John K is in fourth. So you can see really it switches a lot there. Switches a lot. Okay. Jimmy Johnson's on the scoreboard. Almost everybody's on the scoreboard. Jay Bird, is that Madigan? Okay. He's a 0. Captain Lord Voltar is at a 0. But everybody else is on the scoreboard. Except for Stuart Crump. That may be one of his relatives, I would think. But who knows? Maybe he's connecting with us from the hereafter. All right, let's go to what? Question 4. Question 4. Here we go. How many women are in the National Yo-Yo Hall of Fame? None, 1, 2, 3, or 4? None, 1, 2, 3, or 4.
Yeah, what appears, I don't know how many we can add, but yeah, it definitely gives me the answer to add at least another one.
All right, the correct answer is 3. 3 women are in the National Yo-Yo Hall of Fame. Val Krantz, Linda Singh Powell, and Jennifer Baybrook. Those are the 3 that are in there right now. More to be added later, I am sure. Okay, only 18% answered correct. That is something that I would think that everybody would know, but now you do. All right, so maybe that was a good question to ask. Okay, here we go. So, rankings. Ooh, it's tightening up a bit. All right, now let me just say this. This is the last question, so you want to answer really quick because that's the way to get to the top of the list here, really quick. So the Simcoe has got a pretty good lead, but he could lose that to several people here. Okay, here we go. Last and final question. Who is given credit for popularizing the trick DNA? Dennis McBride, Don Duncan Jr., Mark McBride, Gentry Stein, or Pedro Flores? I hope you answered quick. That point score is running down very fast right now. It's hitting down to where you're not getting much if you're waiting this long. All right, well, the correct answer is this guy has probably got 1 billion views on the 18 million different variations of DNA that he does, and they're all fun to watch. If you haven't seen any of Gentry's videos on how to do DNA or his challenges to people to do weird DNAs, you should watch them. They are a lot of fun. I hate him, though, because the world's most favorite trick used to be walk the dog, and now it's DNA, which is incredibly hard to hit, and I'm still working on. So you can always hit walk the dog, but DNA, that's a tough one. All right, so we're going to find out who our champion is. John K. moved into first place. That's what I mean. No, that was third place. I'm sorry. Rick Grintz, second place. And the Simcoe, wow, 353 points. Good job. The Simcoe, he nailed it. All right, congratulations, man. Well done. Make sure you email us or text us your snail mail. And John, do the same so we can send you some stuff too. So anyway, congratulations again to Tim. Good solid win there. Thanks for everybody for playing. That was a lot of fun. And don't forget to sign up for all those contests that are coming up. There are several. Hopefully we'll see you at the Florida State Championships. That's the one I'll be at. And I'm going to be there with lots of collectible yo-yos. So make sure you bring your trading yo-yos with you. The next time I will see you guys on Yo-Yo Talk, and we'll have a recap certainly of the Florida State Championships then. That will be December 7th at 9:30 p.m. You guys have a happy Thanksgiving. This is Doc Lucky reminding you, you can never have too many yo-yos. See y'all in December.